Hello teacher, we are in group 98 and today me, Khanh and Quý will present the critical thinking reports of our team. The topic today is regards to social media and we must be answer thoroughly the question, is social media beneficial to the individual and society? And then we will determine the advantages and disadvantages of social media. This is the contents that we are going to be research. Firstly is introduction of social media. Secondly is method of research. 3. Data analysis. 4. Identifying weak arguments. 5. Consolidating arguments from opposition. 6. Conclusion. And finally, reference. Firstly, I will represent the introduction of social media. You know, social media is a channel of communication that uses the internet. Social networks have a big effect on young generation. It is evident that social media have become part of people's life. Users may engage in conversation, exchange information, and produce content for the web via social media platforms. It may take many different forms, including blogs, microblogs, wikis, social network sites, picture, video sharing websites, instant messaging, podcasts, widgets, virtual reality, and many. Nowadays, billions of people around the world use social to share information and make connections. Social media also makes it possible for individuals, companies, organizations, governments to interact with large numbers of people. On a personal level, social media allows you and people to communicate with friends and family, learn new things, develop their interests, and be entertained. On the other hand, on a professional level, users can use it to broaden their knowledge in a particular field and build their professional network by connecting with other professionals in the industry. At the company level, employees have a conversation with the audience, gain customer feedback, and elevate their brand through social media. However, social media has a negative effect on our lives because the combination of isolation and global reach has undermined our culture despite all the advantages it has brought, including ability to connect with friends and family around the world and to transcend borders and culture barriers. In conclusion, the purpose of research today is determine the benefits and drawbacks of social media. The emphasis is on certain areas such as health, entertainment, education, and communication. Secondly, we will note about the method of research today. We are going to making questions related to social media surveys for people of a variety of ages and collecting information with precision and different points of view of the students and the people working in the different fields. Thirdly is the contents of data analysis, and we will represent it.
Okay, so now move to the data analysis. According to our survey statistic, the percentage of male equal to just 1/4 of the percentage of female, and most of the survey contributors uh, spend most of their time for uh, use the internet free, frequently, and just a very few of them, just a very few of them not use it not so frequently. And the age of the the average age of our survey contributor is about in the group of 18 to 24, and the rest is the is belong to a group under 80 or 25 to 40 years old, and there's no people who over 50 do our survey. And so, which applications that the most of people are using when they're joining in the internet? Well, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube, those are applica- applications that's being used by most of the people nowadays. And Twitter, LinkedIn, Zillow, or Messenger belong to the rest, which I have the lower percentage. So most of the survey participants suppose that uh, the internet has their own beneficial and drawback. A few of them said that the social media only have the beneficial, and none of them agree that social media also have the harmful to the people, to the user. There are 7 advantages of the social media that we list to our survey. As you can see, accessing and updating information, uh, convenient to interact, and effective entertainment tool. Those three are being agreed by more than 50% of the survey contributor, and the others four have the lower percentage from the accuracy of the survey. And this is the statistic of the disadvantages of social media. And uh, about this statistic have a lower from the people who agree with them, because some of them not sure about that if this if this statement could be right or wrong. So of course they have lower percentage from the people who vote for completely agree. So this is the end of the data analysis, and now come for the Khang presentation.
Okay, so now I'm going to tell you about the weak arguments that we have identified in the survey. So the first argument that we have identified is social media is slow to update information because of weak connections and is not as accurate as news in newspapers or on TV. This is a fallacy. Specifically, this suffers from the red herring fallacy and the weak analogy fallacy. The speed of updating information on social networks is not related to the strength or weakness of the network. That's just for personal and subjective reasons. Information on social media and news in newspapers or television cannot be compared. The second argument that we have identified is people can't face cyber violence because I have never experienced it. And this is a fallacy because this appeals to ignorance. This participant is trying to ignore the cause of cyber violence. The third argument is when people sign up for an account online, the information has already been leaked on that platform. Even sharing private information about themselves or family members that can be harmful to their privacy. Haven't you signed up for any social media accounts yet? This is a loaded question. Signing up for a social media account has nothing to do with personal information being leaked or personal images being used indiscriminately. Currently, social network accounts are very secure when registering and logging in as long as you don't have to disclose information to anyone or accidentally log into unknown websites or links. The fourth argument is students using social media will lead to addiction to it, and that will make students become unfocused in their studies. They will drop out. If they do not get a job, they will cause evils to society. This is a slippery slope. The fact that students who use social media are uncertain but overstated the following. At the same time, it may not have the same terrible consequences as the person presented. The fifth argument is some students say that social media helps them better self-study while they are social media addicts, lame people. This argument is fallacious because it attacks the motive. This person called people in this argument addicts and lame instead of concentrating on rebuttal. In addition, the above sentence can also be seen as a stereotype about the fact that almost everyone uses social networks for entertainment. So now I'm going to hand over to Trang for the next part.
Okay, I will going to be consolidating arguments from a position. The first argument, I will read aloud it. Social media is slow to update information because of weak connections and is not as accurate as news in newspapers or on TV. Over 90% of survey participants believe in quickly accessing and updating information and social media, and we think this figure is strong and reliable enough to rebuttal this argument. The second argument, people can't face cyber violence because I have never experienced it. Up to 69% of survey participants think that social media is a quite essential reason leading to cyber violence. Thus, the above argument is unreliable. as the speaker is trying to ignore the cause of cyber violence. Next, the arguments 3, 4, 5 is kind presenter.
Okay, so I'll tell you the third argument. When people sign up for an account online, the information has already been leaked on that platform, even sharing private information about themselves or family members that can be harmful to their privacy when you signed up for any social media accounts yet. So about 4.5% of people who disagree about creating or logging into an account will be easily hacked. Whether it is easy to be hacked or not depends on the user of this website account. Just be careful and use the correct terms of security. The user's account will still be safe. Do not be foolish to log into unknown websites. Then your account will be easily exposed or leaked. The fourth argument is students using social media will lead to addiction to it, and that will make students become unfocused in their studies. They will drop out. If they do not get a job, they will cause evils to society. 90% of participants think that using social media is addictive, but it is not certain that students using social networks will be addicted because they may know how to regulate their use of the network. Besides, if students have an addiction, they can overcome it so that it does not lead to worse conditions. The fifth argument, some students say that social media helps them better self-study while they are social media addicts. Lame people. 79.2% of participants think social media is a good way to self-study and learn online. Despite spending a lot of time on social media, they can also have a good performance in school and get good marks. Moreover, thanks to using social media, more useful knowledge is learned that helps them in class. Unfortunately, others think they're addicts. So this is the end of my part.
Okay, so after our study about the pros and cons of the social media to our life, we have concluded the it both have its own positive side and also the negative side. The internet have us to improve ourselves, and but however still it could turn you into one of its patients due to the evil or criminal. So hopefully people can use the internet wisely so that they could have a best experience for the social media. And finally, these are some references that we have used to serve for our study about the pros and cons of the social media. Thank you for that's the end of our presentation about our study.